you looking for addiction recovery support? Flower and gem essences can help a lot. I'm Lily from Brown Bear Herbs, and I wanted to share with you my addiction recovery support gem and flower essence combo. They come in little bottles like this, and you can put drops into your water and sip throughout the day, or you can put them into foods or bath water. There's a lot of options. Flower and gem essences are made by putting flowers or gems into water and letting them rest in the sunlight, typically for a couple hours, and then you remove the material, like the plant. What's left is like water that's been energized by those properties, and then you preserve that with alcohol typically, and these are preserved with brandy. Typically I recommend around 5 drops in like a liter bottle of water per day, and then you sip that throughout the day. So the amount of alcohol that you would be consuming is on par with a banana or some yogurt. However, if you are triggered by the smell of alcohol, there are some options you can do, which is you could put the drops into like hot water, like your morning tea or coffee, and that would like evaporate off a lot of the alcohol. If that's still uncomfortable, please let me know in the comments if you'd prefer to see a glycerin-based alcohol-free essence option or a vinegar-based alcohol-free essence option, because those are 2 that are frequently done and people like them differently. So let me know. This essence combo has amethyst, lavender, gold, and tobacco flower essence in it, and some others. But those are the key ones that I will be talking about. Amethyst has been used throughout history to support sobriety, like including drinking alcohol out of amethyst cups to avoid being intoxicated. I haven't tried it. Maybe I should. I'm very sensitive to alcohol, and I do not, my body does not tolerate it well. So maybe I will try an amethyst cup and report back to you. The feeling I get from amethyst is that it raises your consciousness to higher levels. So like typically it's said like this third eye, but I am also wondering if it is, oh, hold on, Cutie says hi. Amethyst is associated with like the third eye, but I am also noticing in my own spiritual journey that as the energy comes up, I feel like I'm getting more sensitive to alcohol. It is just like a lower vibration activity substance. When you get intoxicated like that, it prevents like clear sight. It prevents, clarity around emotions. It prevents like, clear thinking. It prevents a lot of clarity. That's like kind of the point, is to like, I think for people is to let go of that a little bit so that they can de-stress. But there are other ways to de-stress, like meditation, and I don't know, go for a skinny dip somewhere and under the moonlight, and just like breathe into the moon with the moonbeams. I don't know, there's so many options. Yeah, my experience is that like as I like focus on like 7th and 8th chakra, those vibes, my tolerance to alcohol is like way less, and to the point where I'll have a half of a glass of wine and will feel like non-functional. So that's okay with me, but I don't really have that much in my lifestyle. But my thinking is that like as you raise your consciousness, your body is going to naturally reject and have bad feelings about intoxicants. That energetic shift that you can work with yourself, that is going to be similar to maybe like some drugs that you might take to make it so that your body doesn't like alcohol. It's just another approach. Then lavender is in this essence as well, and that flower is very balancing. So it has the reputation of, if you are anxious, it brings calming energy, and if you are like sluggish and like having trouble getting out of bed, then it's felt as stimulating. So it's a moderator of energy, and it's also associated with the upper chakras. So those are 2 lavender vibes bringing you up that I like for this purpose of helping you release your addictions. And maybe another aspect of bringing your energy up is also seeing like how they function in your life more clearly. Because if you're not seeing how they function, then it can be hard to have the motivation to release the addiction. So if you are, stuck in the way that alcohol and other substances can help you detach and dissociate and deny like your problems in life, and whether that's just like social anxiety, like you want to go out and go partying and it's just a whole lot easier if you're drinking, or if that is you're having like a serious problem in your home and the way to deal with emotions and like to avoid conflict is just to like numb out with alcohol. So either way, there are ways to come to a place of greater harmony. That's probably not going to be in that moment, which is why you're looking for like a quick fix. So the hard work is going to be through like sitting with the problem, confronting what needs to be confronted, whether it's internal or external, and then like moving forward. And those are hard things to do. And that's why support groups are so helpful. But this is like another ally type of group, is plants and gem medicine. There's no need to limit yourself to one or the other. You can try this, and I encourage you to get the support of a team of people who are working together to confront their issues and the reasons that brought them to have an addiction and their motivations for wanting to change and evolve and grow, and let that stuff go, because it really is hard to evolve your relationships and have good relationships if you are using substances. Unfortunately, I know that from personal experiences. Little habits can seem like they're okay, and then it can lead to really big problems if kind of like the person is in denial about problems and then adds to it by not being able to see their behavior because they're not sober enough to remember it or something like that. This also has gold in it for your self-esteem and just feeling like you can be authentically yourself, because that's, I think a lot of people are, especially if you have that social anxiety, you just want to drink when you're out with people to like fit in better. This can help you feel more like just you are yourself, and it's awesome that you're yourself. So you can be there with other people and not feel so worried about it. A couple of my favorite things to talk to you about come with this essence, which is the tobacco flower essence. And so the tobacco flower essence does not contain any nicotine or anything like that, and it is helpful for getting over addiction. And I like this as an example for how you can often use other parts of the plant to deal with problems that come from like overuse of like one part of the plant. So an example of that would be like if you're eating a lot of corn because it's in like our diets like crazy, then you're developing some corn sensitivity, inflammation, symptoms, and you take corn silk tea, and that like soothes things and calms things. And then hawthorn leaves are the remedy for hawthorn thorn pokes. That's one. And then if you get constipated from opiates, then you can make a tea by crushing the poppy seeds, just like regular poppy seeds that you get at the grocery store. You can make a tea out of those, and that will resolve the constipation. Using the whole plant is like better. So who knows whether people who smoke tobacco now and again use the flower essence at the same time would not even get addicted. That'd be so cool, right? Not for the people who are in the business of selling tobacco, but so why would they want that? But actually that might be a good thing to have if you are like a child of someone who smokes, or you're around a smoker a lot and you're getting that secondhand smoke. You might do the tobacco flower essence to avoid any like addiction being way more easy because of that constant exposure. And then there's some other goodies in here too, and the overall vibe, like as I synthesize energetically like what the combo is giving, the addiction recovery support essence, is one of freedom and how much energy addiction and avoiding our problems, that's right, takes away from us. Addiction is very undermining, self-undermining. So by avoiding looking our problems right in the eye, and we might do this because it's just like a family pattern. We saw our parents have like 3 drinks a night before they went, between dinner and bedtime. That's an addiction pattern, okay? Like 3 drinks a night is a huge amount of alcohol, and it's not sobriety. They're not having sober evenings with their family. So if we see that and that's normal, and then later they start drinking more and we see it as alcoholism, we may not realize that a person drinking 3 drinks a night, like they're like healthier parent, is still alcoholism. It's just not the advanced stages, perhaps, but it'll get there because we develop tolerance. Addiction undermines us in so many ways because it taxes our bodies. It makes our bodies weaker. It's hard on our liver to use alcohol, and other drugs can affect the kidneys as well. And these are like really important organs for dealing with life and dealing with our emotion. While we're undermining our body by taking substances, we're also undermining our relationships. We're undermining our relationship with ourselves. We are failing to like confront things, and life is hard. So I would never expect you to try to do that by yourself. And I would encourage you to get, like, especially if you're dealing with addiction, help from a therapist or support group. But I would also really, really, ask you to try to find which members of your community are going to support you if you come to them with vulnerability and honesty, and you say to them, you know what, I've realized that when I'm having a hard time emotionally, I drink, and I'm trying not to do that anymore. And I'm just letting you know so that like I have another reminder of what my goals are. And, here's some of the things that I've been stressed out about or whatever. And so that kind of effort on your part may show you that some of the people in your community would rather you just not talk to them about your emotions. But I think that there will be some people that will be supportive, and those are going to be your real friends anyways, or your real family members, like the real connections that mean something to you, that are actually interested in your growth, and not just you not giving them like difficult things to think about. Because if somebody thinks it's better to deal with you when you're not sober, then that is not a helpful person to have in your life. It's an enabler, and it may very well also be an abuser. So I encourage you to be vulnerable and authentic, and get help and accept help from like easy things like essences, flowers, and gems. And then when you shift your energy, so basically through evolution, you're gradually bringing your energy to encompass not just grounding, but also higher levels of functioning like heart openness, better communication skills, and ability to see the truth, ability to like have like understanding of like the needs of humanity, not just your own needs, and to work collectively. So, this is like a clearing of your consciousness. And by taking the essences, you are prompting that energy to kind of like teach you, hey, this is the shift that I need to take, instead of kind of like going through it in a little bit more like trial and error type of way. Like, how do I think about this? Because like the support groups will also reinforce that shift by asking you to be spiritual, by asking you to volunteer, do service, and to make amends and think about other people's feelings, stuff like that. So it's just, there's a lot of strategies to help you with addiction. There are so many good reasons to do it, but really think about how this is undermining you on like every level, to let enslavement to, perceived enslavement to a substance like take over your life and hurt your body, hurt your relationships, hurt your emotional growth, and hurt your spiritual growth. And so the vibe is freedom. When you have freedom and you are learning these new strategies, these super liberating strategies, and you know what? it doesn't seem liberating to be like, oh, I have to think about other people's feelings instead of just like blowing it all off and having like an experience that's about me and my like interface with drugs. That doesn't seem liberating, but it is. It really is, because you're just looking at the situation right in the eye. It's done. You confront it and it's done. Or you can confront it and you're working with the other person. You realize they're never going to work with you. Never. You let that go and you move on, and you find relationships where those people want to work with you. They're like, great, I'm so glad you brought that up, because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know how to verbalize it yet. And then the next time they might be the person to bring it up. And instead of you like feeling overwhelmed and going off and having substances, you can go to your support group. You can go to your therapist. You can take absences and you can say to them, gosh, okay, like we need to talk about this. This is good. I love that we have the like resilience in our relationship or friendship, whatever it is, that we can talk things through. Then you don't have that stuff hanging over your head. I mean, think of the weight of procrastination and the weight of like unresolved issues. It's just like this huge backlog, huge emotional backlog, like things you have to like compartmentalize so you don't deal with emotions. One of my favorite lines from the Tao Te Ching is, because the sage always confronts difficulties, they never experience them. And I think that's like a perfect like thing to think about as you're thinking about addiction, because addiction is just really an unfortunate thing that happens while we're trying not to confront difficulties. And when we start living life as though, you know, in like a no backlog type of way, and working with people who are on board with that, then there's a real sense of power and freedom, because those people that are in our lives, they want to co-create better and better relationships and a better and better world with us. They are not in denial. They're in it to have things work. It's such a cool idea. And the problems don't go away if you try to bypass it. And these are people, you end up creating a world of people who know that. They know that you got to talk about it. You got to work on things. The problems of the world don't go away if we don't look at them. So as you go into the holiday season and see your family members and old friends who might have patterns and behaviors that are not helpful, I encourage you to get the support you need through people, friends, allies, support groups. There's a lot of online support groups to help you maintain your sobriety goals, and using the addiction recovery support formula that I made to help you get freedom in your life. And I just want you to know that you do have it in you to get through this time, and it is so worth it. And the future that you're creating by doing this is so much better. Life is hard, but there are a lot of people who are feeling it, and there are a lot of people who want to work together to know that they're going to a better place. Anyway, I'm very passionate about addiction stuff because I've had people in my life who have these problems, and they just they're not like you. They didn't want to get better, or it took them a really long time to realize that, and they hurt a lot of people along the way. But I'm really lucky because I work with people all the time who contact me because they genuinely want to change, and they just want it to be a little bit easier. And that makes me like super inspired and realize that the world is full of people who want to overcome things, and they can. They totally can. All right. Hope you have a great holidays.